Welcome to Death on Clare Island, Chapter 28. Shivering, I cursed myself for leaving my jacket at Peter's place. High above me, the stars shone like cold diamonds. No warmth there. Cloud cover momentarily hid the full moon, making it seem dull and smaller than usual, barely lighting the narrow path down toward the harbor. As the wet grass soaked my feet inside my sneakers, I realized that power walking was out of the question. I picked my way slowly along the grassy slope, dodging the pieces of stone and pebbles and the sheep dotting the grassy landscape that I could make out in the dim moonlight. One false step and I'd be on my behind again like earlier in the week. But this time, I might not be so lucky to only twist my ankle. I glanced back at the lighthouse and wondered if I should ask Peter to drive me down to the bay after all. Then I saw that the lights were all out now. I weighed my options and decided it was better to continue down instead of venturing back. I stood still for a few minutes, trying to visualize the path that I'd taken several times in the past when I'd hiked to the harbor in daylight. At the same time, I replayed my conversation with Peter. Why was I so sensitive? Why was I running away like this? What was I running away from? It certainly wasn't Peter. I realized that it was me, and perhaps more importantly, that the ability to move into the future was in my hands. I'd already experienced so much sadness. I wondered if I could face any more. I had to admit that Peter was right about one thing. I needed to make room for someone else in my life again. I couldn't mourn Dylan forever. Life is for the living. I imagined what it would be like to have someone to snuggle up to at night, to share my dreams about finding my mother, to confide my deepest fears. I'd never know if I didn't give Peter a chance, and if I didn't let Dylan go and give myself a chance. In the instant I realized that I'd have to turn around, a pair of arms encircled me, and Peter's voice whispered in my ear, "I can't let you go like this, Star." I leaned back into his body, twisted my head, and looked up into his eyes. "I know what you're thinking. I've been thinking." The flow of words halted as the moonlight reappeared from behind its cover to reveal the hypodermic needle that Peter wielded in his right hand. "That's been your problem all along. You think too much." His left arm wrapped itself around me tighter as he poised the needle above my right. "Oh my God, you? You're Matthew's killer?" I formed these words instinctively. The realization of where we stood and how alone we were gripped my stomach with a sickening, dull ache. He shoved me around so that he stood opposite to me. The hypodermic needle was ready to plunge whatever he decided. "I hoped you'd give up and return to the United States or get involved in finding that so-called missing mother of yours." His words hit me like a slap in the face, and I felt my skin burn with fear and anguish. My arm was numb from the pressure he was applying. I realized that I had to try to get control of the situation. But how? I wasn't about to become some invincible heroine, nor did I expect the timely arrival of the police or some other savior. The only thing I could think of was to keep him talking. "There's still time, Peter. No one ever has to know about you. You can let me turn around right now and walk down this mountain and out of your life forever. I promise. No one will ever know." God, this is so lame, I told myself. I knew he'd never fall for that. What was I going to do? "You're absolutely right," he said. "No one will know. And that's because you'll probably never be found. You'll just be another missing American. You have no family, no one who cares where you go. Oh, yes, there's that annoying, nosy aunt of yours. But what's she going to do? Go complaining to the guards?" He chuckled at these insights. In the moonlight, his eyes looked like pools of pure blackness. No light shone there. "And if you are found, you'll be full of morphine, another mysterious drug-related death. That's nothing new around here. The guards will explain your death faster than they worked out Matthew's case. You don't honestly believe that they'll do anything about you, right?" Images fired through my mind like rockets. I couldn't control them and felt my legs wobbling beneath me. This was really going to happen. I'm about to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, I'm going to die. I accept that. But before you kill me, please tell me why you did it. Why? Because I'm the boy who received a bicycle on his 17th birthday instead of a car, like all his other wealthy classmates. I'm the toddler whose father scolded him for wanting to play with the other kids in the neighborhood. My father was a miserly drunk. Imagine your father is a doctor and you're treated like an orphan. No hugs, no encouragement. After school, I had to clean out the kennels for the hunting dogs he kept. I took off after high school and vowed that I'd be wealthy one day, and no one would ever have power over me like that again. It didn't take me long to learn that smuggling drugs guaranteed me a generous line of income. Anger froze his face as he wiped the hand that clutched the hypodermic needle over his mouth. So, you killed Matthew because he knew you were a drug dealer. I spoke this very slowly as I tried to put the pieces together in my mind. I killed Sumner because he loved that well-mannered financial advisor so much. Enough, in fact, that he was in search of her source of drugs. Sharon Dawson was a closet cocaine user, and Matthew roamed around every corner of this island day and night in search of her supplier. I have a reputation for keeping to myself, but that doesn't mean that I don't see what's going on. It was only a matter of time before he or that small-time hood, Alan Skye, figured out my operation. I can deal with Skye in a different manner, but I had to get rid of Sumner. How did you do it? Matthew probably knew this island better than you do. He was so blinded by his love for Sharon that his head was in the clouds half the time. All I really had to do was walk right up to him in an unguarded moment. We struggled, and he fell and smacked his head on a stone. Peter's hand tightened on my arm as he continued. The hit on the head stunned him for a few minutes, so I was able to inject the cocaine behind his ear and stuff the vial into his pocket. After that, it was easy. Long story short, he went over the side of the cliff. Too bad he didn't heed the warning signs, something he should have taken into consideration before his moonlit stroll. And Sharon Dawson, you killed her as well, didn't you? I had to. Her habit had gotten worse. After I killed Sumner, she began to unravel quickly, so she was a risk. Of course, I had to get creative. Wrapped the nylon around her neck, made it look like suicide. His matter-of-fact tone of voice sent chills down my spine. There was no remorse, no fear, no empathy. But how did you meet her? Was it through the newsletter? Peter laughed. I met her on the island one day when she visited Sumner. She'd seen him talking to that teenager, Lucia, and in a jealous rage, Sharon threw herself at me. It was easy to fuel her jealousy and need for attention. I immediately saw her value as a conduit for laundering money, drugs, and sex. Hooking her was simple. As time went on, my payment demands became greater. He paused to laugh again. And her talent as an investment broker was immeasurable. My portfolio had swelled under the information she provided. In the end, she was enthralled to me like a wanton female vampire to Dracula. Just like you, Star. I fooled you. It would only have been a matter of time before you became one of my obedient subjects. My accident in Dublin and the note? That was all you, wasn't it? You've been trouble right from the beginning. I'll enjoy getting rid of you, Miss O'Brien. All independence and know-how. I enjoyed playing the sympathetic ear just to watch how your stubbornness gets in your way. Yeah, it was me, and you laid it all out. I just had to show up. And on the Sumner's boat the other day, I was sure I heard footsteps. That was me, too. I considered making it look like an accident where you got rammed on the head with one of the masts and fell overboard. But that might have been too suspicious. So I decided to wait until I had you here on my territory. You have to admit that I outsmarted you. His narcissism seemed boundless, so I decided to play to it. Yes, you really had me fooled. I was impressed by your concern and generosity for others. But why, Peter? Okay, so you had a few rough bumps in your childhood, but you're a successful businessman now, and I intend to stay that way. Don't think I'm going to fall for the flattery. It won't work, but I've enjoyed making a fool of you. He raised the needle as he grinned sadistically. In a rush of frantic thoughts, I wondered why I hadn't seen this coming. Why hadn't I seen beyond the jewelry, the car, and the smoothness? The signals had all been there, but I'd missed them. Always calling after something happened with him. Volunteering to drive me to Dublin, acting like he supported my independence, delving into what happened to Matthew, asking me questions about my family and when I'd be returning to the States. There was nothing for me to do, so I opened my mouth and began screaming as loudly as I could. Each one came from deep within my soul, pouring out of me like a foghorn in the mist. Then there were other screeches. Peter loosened his grasp on my arm as he cast a glance around for their source. I chose that moment to throw myself at him, aiming for his midsection and attempting to knock him down so I could run for help. But my sneakers slipped on the wet grass and my arms pinwheeled in the air as I struggled to keep from falling. Too late. My weight, along with the inscrutable nature of gravity, directed me straight toward him. Perhaps it was at the angle at which I hit him. Perhaps he was thrown off by the cacophony of screams echoing through the air. Or perhaps he just lost his footing, as did I, on the wet grass only seconds before. Whatever the reason, I watched in astonishment as he became the latest victim of the cliff erosion that the signs warned of. He fell back in slow motion, his arms flailing as he tried to grab something and found only thin air. Then he disappeared over the side of the mountain and plummeted to his death.